Oh, welcome. It's 7 o'clock, Tuesday the 15th of July. This is our regular city council meeting. Very happy to have you all in attendance tonight, and it's good to see you. We will dispense with a roll call because there's only one councilman missing. That's Lynn Meekum. He is out of town tonight, and we'd like to excuse him. He had a family thing to go to. The rest of us are all here, so glad to have you in attendance. We start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and would ask if anyone would like to lead us. Anyone?
I'll do it, Eric.
Okay.
Please stand. Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Also, I would like to start with an inspirational thought or an invocation. Would like to invite anyone, if they would like to.
Could I give an inspirational thought?
Sure.
Yeah. Trying to step it up. Mayor, a months ago, said that I'm so quiet when it comes to the invocation or inspirational thought, and I was like, yeah, I am.
You know what? This is twice.
I know.
Just
yeah.
Last meeting.
Just last
and this
meeting.
One. So yeah.
But he doesn't know what he opened. I was thinking about as Orchard Days comes up, and I think of all the great people that contribute to our community. Some year or two ago, I spent quite some weeks taking care of my mom before she passed away, and a lot of her friends came and visited and brought us lunch, and these are all my friends' moms that came and visited her, and I was reminiscing with them of I grew up in California in this smaller community too. And I was reminiscing with them about how great of a community we grew up in and how I had such good friends and everything was so great. And I said, I really hope that the place that I moved to is like that. And that friend's mom quickly almost scolded me and told me, well, it's not, you don't find a good community, you build a good community. And it took a lot of work from us parents and everybody in this community to build this. Essentially, and I've really seen since these years being in Santaquin and having family in Santaquin of how we have such good people. Community builders are so important, and whether that's being a good neighbor or contributing to city festivals or plowing the trails, the asphalt trails. I've seen people do that aren't even with the city. They're just trying to contribute. Business owners that bet on the city. There are so many, and city staff. There's so many good people. And I just want to leave that thought that, you don't find a good community, you build a good community. And I think all of us, should be asking ourselves, am I actively building a good community? And what am I doing right? What could I do more? Because we live in such a good community with such great people, and I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Would like to ask if there is a declaration of potential conflict of interest on any of the items that are going to come up tonight. Okay, then we'll move on. And we like to go rather fast with this next one. It's called the consent agenda. What it is a whole bunch of minutes, bills, and everything else that we have had days to look at, and we will just go over that as quickly as we possibly can. If there are questions, we'll still go through them. So in the consent agenda, I would like to discuss first, are there any corrections, additions, or changes on the June 30th special city council meeting that was held? We good to move forward? Okay. Bills, city expenditures from the 28th of June to the 11th of July. the amount of $1,044,281.35. You've had a chance to look at those. Are there any additions, corrections, anything that we missed or that you need a question answered on? Okay, then I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to turn on my microphone. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Had a motion and a second. Brian?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Motion passes. We want to move into our recognitions and public forum. Our recognition is with Chuck Rinker. I would tell you he is my favorite, but he kind of is. He is one talented, good dude. And I hope that he never takes care of the plot that I have, because he is the guy that makes our cemetery what it is. He is amazing. So, Jason, I want to ask you to take the microphone.
First of all, I need to tell you a little bit about this picture. This picture was taken in 2020. I had the opportunity to go to Alaska, and we spent a week there. And he spent 40 years, lived in Alaska for 40 years. I'm telling you what, this man knows how to catch fish. It was so much fun to watch him in those rivers, standing. We was on the Russian River, and he was standing on a rock, and he was just spoon feeding these fish this fly, and he was standing up on that rock with this huge smile on his face. I thought, man, this guy is in his element right here and right now. So anyway, I just had to tell you a little bit about that. But anyway, Chuck's been with us for quite a while, and he does a great job at the cemetery. He just takes ownership, and I have this to read. I'll go ahead and read it. Charles Chuck Rinker has been a valued member of the Santaquin City team since 2018. For the past 4 years, he has taken primary responsibility for the care and maintenance of the Santaquin City Cemetery, a role he approaches with dedication, respect, and pride. Chuck exemplifies ownership in his work. He ensures the cemetery grounds are well kept, dignified, and welcoming to visitors throughout the year. Whether it's preparing for Memorial Day or maintaining the overall condition of the grounds, Chuck brings a level of care and consistency that reflects both his professionalism and his personal commitment to the community. One of Chuck's most impactful contributions has been implementing a targeted spraying method around each headstone. This initiative has significantly reduced the amount of trimming required and has eliminated hours of labor each month, allowing the cemetery to remain well-groomed and visually respectful with greater efficiency. In addition to his responsibilities at the cemetery, Chuck is always willing to lend a hand wherever needed. His positive attitude, reliability, and strong work ethic make him a great asset to the city and trusted team member in the Public Works Department. Santaquin City is grateful for Chuck's continued service and the pride he takes in maintaining a space that is meaningful to our residents and their families. So,
I'd like to make a personal comment too. I have been a couple of times reminded by Chuck that I was not doing my job in replacing the flags at the cemetery, and I appreciate that reminder. He is very proud of what he does, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
yeah, we're thankful to have him. A lot of cemeteries, Payson Cemetery, I think they employ 2 full-time folks and then a handful of part-time people to help them maintain that cemetery. We have Chuck, so we are super grateful for Chuck. Thank you very much, Chuck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We always get a picture, mainly because I wear a tuxedo. Makes it look really good. Oh, I forgot. I'm not going to use this one, Jason. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. I asked him another question. You know, if I didn't get up and walk around, you guys wouldn't know I was in shorts, but that's okay. It's just one of those things that make it more comfortable. Glad to have you here. On the public forum tonight, I only have one name, Kevin Kraft?
So I have these pictures, just hand them out to you real quick. About, hi. Good to see you. Kind of about what we're talking about. At least part of what we're talking about. Sorry.
So I'm the owner of Old Pioneer Press. That's directly kitty corner to the Ford dealership. And several things have happened during the construction, and we have asked several of the different people here concerning remuneration, if there was any money that was appropriated to help us. I'm in a kind of a pickle because the actual place where they chose to start the construction is right in front of my building. And so as it's gone the 4 different ways. Each of those ways has always entertained a problem with my business. And so out of all the people in the businesses areas of Santaquin, I've kind of taken the load right there in that one area. It's just the Ford dealership did as well, but they were getting things done. I heard that there's going to be a little bit of help monetarily to some of the other companies as they build on the other side of the freeway, and we were chatting. Do you want to come up here?
Sure.
So we were. This is.
Hi, Bobby Henderson. I bought the family tree, so Wild Thistle. I know some of you helped me get that project going, so thank you. Yes. So when UDOT did the University Avenue, and UTA was part of it. They gave subsidies to the businesses there on University Avenue during construction, just to help offset the loss of revenue, which would be challenging for us to show because we're brand new, so we wouldn't be able to compare to last year. But I was willing to do some research if you guys wanted, how that worked for the businesses there. I have several friends who benefited. And it wasn't city money, it came from UDOT. So, just the thought we wanted to bring up as we're chatting, like, there's no parking. People, they just avoid going that far down the road because it's like, wait, we don't even know where it's gonna split. I watched someone drive right into that big hole.
Oh no.
So I just think people are kind of avoiding the area. So yeah, we were like, well, the parking situation's not great. The huge corner got put in that took about 4 parking stalls.
Which doesn't make sense. And
There's no crosswalk.
I'm sure it's a state thing rather than a city. We did talk to a couple of people about that, but they've got the sign, the stop sign. It's like 10 feet back, 15 feet back, and our building's here, and so people come to a line and they stop. They're not going to be able to see any traffic that way. They all have to pull forward in order to see past the building in order to make a turn or make a thing. I don't understand that. That was really weird.
Yeah.
And that did take up those parking spaces for both of our businesses. And luckily we have good people of Santaquin that have helped me. This has been 2 years now through all the difficult times that have happened. And people are persistent. We had an old lady who had to park on the other side by Tishner's Ford. And she walked across the road through all traffic and everything. And then she got to the big ditch and she didn't know what to do. And the workers in the ditch picked her up and carried her across. And she came, and then she needed to be taken back, and they carried her across. Wow. It was quite entertaining. But
they really did that?
They did. Yeah, they were actually, so good for the workers. That was quite entertaining. But that shows the persistence. So it's not like our business shut down and we had problems or anything.
Right.
We just thought, well, let's check and see if there's anything to help us out, from those type of situations.
First, I want you both to know your businesses are important. We are so grateful that you're here and you've gone through this. And we know that it's been a heartache, mainly because project phase 1 ended on your corner and project phase 2 started a foot away or a foot behind so that they could make it work out. And really, I understand that completely. If you have information, especially with anything on the UDOT side, this is new to me, but we would appreciate you giving any of that to us. If you could just bring it in and leave it with my staff, and we'll review it and see what we could do. You know, if I had gold to give you, I would do it. You know, and I would do that for everybody. You know, there's nothing I love more than this city, and to have good people come here and have their hopes and dreams for a business that'll work, and then all of a sudden have all that construction, and it'll hurt for another month or so, and then all of a sudden it's going to go, whew, this is wide open. You
Well
know,
worth
what
it.
was I thinking? But
It will be well worth it.
we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And yes, please let us help with what we can.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you aware of anything, Norm, Jason?
I'm not aware of it. I was involved in the funding on the project. I'm aware that Payson did have some potential remuneration, but it was only for like the fronts of the businesses to improve the facades. It wasn't remuneration like
That was CDBG money.
that was CDBG
Yeah.
funds, which these are not. And so I'm not familiar with what you're referring to in Provo. But again, we're happy to look into
Yeah.
it. But right now,
Let's
under
do it.
current funding, there's no funding available for anything like that as far as any kind of remuneration. But if there's another program that UDOT has that I'm not aware of, we're happy to look into it.
And we will follow up with them too. We know all of these people fairly well at this point. It may have only been 3.5 years, but I know them all by name, it seems like, anymore. So
Yeah.
please give that to us and we'll do what we can.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah, and maybe a temporary crosswalk would be helpful.
Well,
That's
or
the thing.
maybe hire a couple of those guys and just carry.
Just some kids with flags. Okay, well, it was nice to meet all of you and everyone who's here at the meeting. Santaquin's been incredibly welcoming. I love what you had to say because you really feel that here. People come in, they want to help. Here's my business card. Let me take yours. What can we do for each other? It's been a beautiful experience. So
Good.
yeah.
Well,
Guys, these neighbors-
we're glad that we have both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, let's move on to the building permits and business license report.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, as he's bringing that up, that was quick. So calendar year, we're up to 163 residential dwelling units. That's made up of 109 single-family and 54 multifamily units. Again, just as a side note, we have in this calendar year 5 new commercial spaces as well that have happened. This is in comparison to 155 at this time last year. Fiscal year, obviously we just started that 15 days ago. We're up to 3 as compared to last year, this time 9. So still 11 and a half months to go in the fiscal year. New business licenses, 2 of them are temporary business licenses. One of them's just about to be done. It's a fireworks stand. The other one is the train rides at the Red Barn. They're going to operate that under a temporary business license. Obviously, there's some agritourism language that the city is working on right now. And then the other one's a home occupation. So happy to answer any questions you have about building permits or business licenses.
Okay, any questions? Okay, we'll get on. Thank you. Appreciate that. We have a formal public hearing tonight. It's a public hearing on the Tanner Flats right-of-way vacation. And that is the change of the road. So do you want to go over that?
Yeah, so that item is the next item up for discussion, and essentially, as we've talked about over the last.
Do we have to go into a formal public hearing
We do,
first?
but I can explain it either here or in the hearing, however you want me to do it.
Why don't we go into the public hearing,
Perfect.
and then afterwards, it'll come up just after the ordinances, and we can review it then. And knowing that some people may be here for that or want to make a comment, that's what the public hearing is for. So I would entertain a motion for a formal public hearing on the Tanner Flats right-of-way vacation.
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Travis?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Okay. This means we turn this meeting into a public hearing. So I would invite anyone that would like to comment on the Tanner Flats right-of-way vacation. And it isn't to Disneyland. It's a vacation of a road. Seeing none? Going once? Okay. Gave you one option, and I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the Tanner Flats right-of-way.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Okay. Now we'll go on to our ordinances, resolutions, discussions, possible action items. And under ordinances, the approval of the Tanner Flats right-of-way vacation. So
Yeah.
now,
So this is basically the Tanner Flats subdivision. They did some engineering as they've been moving forward on this project, and as they've been doing that, they've recognized that there's some things that aren't going to be able to work. So they had to amend their plan. I think amending that plan lost 3 lots. So as part of that amending this plan to make the engineering work better on the property, they had to change the road alignment a little bit. And in order to change that road alignment, a vacation of roads that were approved and platted need to be vacated so that they can then transition to this new plan. So that's essentially what this is about, and I think that's probably enough explanation unless you have any questions.
This is also in harmony with the recent development agreement amendment that we did for the Tanner Flats just a month or 2 ago.
yeah. We've discussed this a couple of times. Are there any questions or anything you want to go over with it? Then I would entertain a motion for the approval if that's what you would like to do.
So moved.
Have the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
So we'll approve that right-of-way vacation and be able to get back with them. The second one, since we have had a formal hearing on the Cemetery 2 annexation, that was held a couple of weeks ago, are there any questions or anything that we want to do before moving forward with this at this point? Everybody pretty much aware of where we want to go. We bought some property last year for a new cemetery. We didn't have any more where the old cemetery is, so we went to some new ground. So anyway, that was also contiguous with the city, and this is the process. So any questions? Then I would entertain a motion to approve the Cemetery 2 annexation.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Brian?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
So we now have the ability to sign the documents and send it in and have a new piece of the city for the dead. Maybe for Chuck's job. Okay, resolutions. Consideration for adoption of a resolution authorizing the issuance of sale of not more than 3.1 million aggregate principal amount of the sewer revenue bonds, Series 2025 related matters. Just so this is clear, we're going to go through a little explanation of it, and glad you're all here to hear this. I know that's why you came.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is something that we've discussed a number of times over the last couple of months. The WRF upgrade, the water reclamation facility and our sewer treatment facilities, processing and storage are in need of an upgrade, and we have about a $13 million bill, and we have about $10 million to fund it in cash, and so therefore we're looking at a $3.1 million bond. We have Randy here from Gilmore and Bell, and we also have Jeanette here from Zions Bank Public Finance that are helping us on the financing side of things. But essentially, this is again just a bond parameters resolution that tells us that we can go out and advertise for some bonding to be able to take care of these needs. The anticipation is that the bonding itself, the payment for the bonds would be taken care of with city funds, whether that be impact fees or other fees, intentionally as much impact fee as possible. But the collateral for the bonds are our sewer rates. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. I know there's some parameters in here, and like I say, Randy and Jeanette are here I get all the easy questions, they get all the hard ones. So
I do want to say one thing, and that is in preparation for paying for, a large water treatment facility years ago, we looked at bonds. We paid $40-50 million up front when we built the project. In the meantime, the known changes that were going to happen with major upgrades and or addition would come with growth. And growth has happened maybe on a more accelerated rate over the last few years. And because of that, we've only had 11, 12 years to prepare ourselves. And the good part about it is there was $10 million that we were able to not only do the design, but prepare ourselves for the cost. Well, over the last 3 or 4 years, costs for everything have gone up, and it doesn't seem like much goes back down. And so really what we're able to do now is to look at this bond and to say on future growth, that's what this bond is going to do, we'll pay for it. So all those old people that, like myself, that paid for that first time around and have paid our bills through all these years, yeah, we still are paying for some of that. However, this new part really wasn't anticipated quite as quickly as it came, but we also were able to benefit from the many good people that built their homes, paid their impacts, and we're looking to take care of these bonds going forward with those impacts that are anticipated. There will still be some growth. And that's what we look at. The bare minimum, how does it pan out? And I appreciate both of you for coming tonight. Janae, do you work for Brian?
Brian and I work together.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brian Baker.
Yeah.
You know him. Yeah. Anyway, would you like to take a minute? Is there anything that you would like to, either one of you, present, talk about, answer a question, or anything? Or are you here for a target? Because we can do that too.
We are here to answer any questions you may have.
I figured
that
it.
we are thrilled to work with the city on this bond issue.
Okay. So
Mayor, can I just go over some of the parameters and
Yes.
we can talk about that? So this is what's called a bond parameters resolution that's before you. We would issue up to $3.1 million worth of bonds. If we only need 2.8, we'll only take out 2.8. We're not going to go for broke and just go get all the money, and it would just get what we need. Also, there are parameters in here of up to 20 years. If we can do a 10 or a 15-year bond instead that would keep us out of debt a little shorter period, then we would do that as well. There's also some interest rate maximums that are in here, and maybe, Randy, I can have you help explain this, or maybe, Jeanette, maybe this really falls to you and Brian, I don't know, but the maximum interest rate right now is at 6%, even though that's not the current borrowing rate. The way that Zions Bank has seen these being financed recently is that sometimes you have much lower rates on the front end and higher rates on the back end. of the 10 to 20 year bond, and so that's why the parameters are where they're at. This would go out to a bid type situation to different financing organizations, Bank of Utah, Wells Fargo, others would bid on purchasing these bonds from us and providing those funds to be able to construct. I hope I've covered that reasonably well. Can you step up to the microphone, please, Jeanette? Thank you.
Could you also give us an idea of kind of what you're seeing right now,
Yes.
interest-wise, that may help us understand that a little bit better?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I kind of, in a way, think of our job as like weather people. We can tell you the patterns and what affects weather, what affects the market, and then who knows after that. But yeah, so the numbers that we've run so far for the city, like Norm, let me just back up just a minute, because Norm did a great job explaining the parameters resolution. So the parameters resolution is just the very outside, right? The outside is 6%. The outside is 20 years, because we don't want something to happen in the marketplace and all of a sudden, rates really jump and you have to come back to this and pass a new resolution and such. So right now the numbers we've run are on a 10-year and at about between 4 and 4.25%. So that's about where the market is right now. CPI came out yesterday, and so rates went up just a little bit, just a titch from where they were when we first ran the numbers, maybe 4 to 6, what we call basis points. And 100 basis points would be a percentage. So that's about where rates are right now, is about between 4.25, which is what we would expect when we send it out to bid. And then, like Norm said, this will be a direct purchase. So an entity will purchase your bonds. We have a list of probably about 40 potential purchasers for a direct purchase. Now, we won't send your request for bid to all 40. We'll scale it down to probably about 10 of entities that will be interested in your types of bonds.
But they are holding in that 4.
They're holding 4 to
somewhere in
4.25.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the type of bond that you are issuing. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate all the work that you've done. I think understanding bonds to the degree that you guys do and what a city needs to go through, especially once you can attain a rating that makes you viable for this kind of response is very important to us. And we're grateful for the work that you've done to help us realize this. This will help us not only now, but in the future. We've got to finish the work up right away. And this pretty much sets us up. I appreciate it.
Well, it's a privilege to work with the city, and well-managed cities are a pleasure to work with. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Gee. I took credit for your work, Norm.
It's okay, Mayor. All day, every day. That's perfect.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything. So, are there any other questions that you have? Anything?
I just had one pop in my head. If you guys know off the top of your head, last year, how much sewer impact fees did we collect?
Well, I can tell you really quick on the math, pretty close on that. So if we had about $1.5 million in impact fees. Now, again, remember that we talked about in the previous meeting that we have had a huge swing in 4 years where we've been really high.
Last year was about average.
It was not average. It was above average. So
Okay.
on average, probably over the last 5 years, we probably have collected about $1 million per year on impact fees.
Okay. All right. So we could still use we could still do this whole payment with impact fees theoretically and still have some left over.
It is. We cannot collateralize them.
No, yes, yeah.
With impact fees, but we can
that's
pay
where
them
we can pull the
100%,
funds
and that
from.
would be our intent.
Okay.
In fact, for the most part, that's generally what happens with all of our bonds right now. Is if there's impact fees associated with the water or the sewer or whatever it happens to be, then yes, we use those as much as we possibly can. But yes. The other thing that I would just recommend is that if we haven't already got it in there, is that we would do no prepayment issues if there's any kind of penalty or something like that. We would like to have bonds that should we get revenue in sooner, we can pay those bonds off sooner. Is that something that we can write into the bid?
Yes, absolutely. It's called a call feature. And so when we send out the request for bids, we will put in there that we prefer the most flexible call option possible. And there are purchasers out there who will say callable anytime, which means you could pay it off at any time.
What do you
And
see
so-
in the trends? Like, is that pretty acceptable right now that there's...
For a direct purchase?
Yeah.
Well, it's so a call feature and your rates are connected. So if it's a callable anytime, your rate might be a little bit slightly higher than, say, if it were callable in 3 years, that type of thing. But for just a 10-year bond of your size, I think we'll get really, really good call options on that, which is
that was the only
prepayment with no
question I
penalty.
had, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Also, when do we think we're going to need to expand another building and all of that?
I cannot answer that without
More
a crystal
like-
ball. So
I know, but
so
it
again,
took us
just
10
knowing
years
where
to be
we're
able to
at
do this expansion.
and recognizing that this will increase capacity in a majority of our WRF systems and other areas. There are other areas that are identified in our master plan that do need to be upgraded. Storage, winter storage is one of those. And so while this will take care of our immediate and short-term needs for the WRF and other parts of the system, it will not take care of us all the way through. And but those projects are identified at some years out in the master plan, and it all depends on growth.
And those are discussions that we have all along the way anyway.
I know we've touched on it before. I'm just trying to.
There is no crystal ball. It just is. We just do it, and then when we have either funds available, or we need to bond, or we need the capacity, that's when we address it. So, but this will help us to. This will help us to increase capacity significantly.
When we need another building, we will probably have to bond that as well. I'm just kind of.
Again, I don't know that if we can pay this off.
We don't
and
know it. I'm just kind of figuring it will probably have to happen, and that's okay. I'm just hoping it's 15, maybe 20 years down the line, and not only 10. But we'll see where we are when we get there.
Right.
There you go.
I don't have any questions, but I will reiterate what I have said in other meetings. I hope that we are very soon looking at what Jeff just talked about as considering the expansion, because the growth is inevitable. We have growth projections from MAG and everybody else, and we're going to get bigger before we get smaller. And we really need to look ahead like those that went before us did.
Art, we went before us. Years ago, we sat in these same meetings.
Yeah, I know. One of our exciting field trips was touring all the wastewater treatment facilities in northern Utah. That was a delight.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions? Anything? Then I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution 0703.
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Travis?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Motion passes. Let's move on to resolution 0704, the acceptance of the 100 North roadway and street dedication. This came up with a subdivision that was going in probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
We worked feverishly to try to find ways in which things could work out, and it boiled down to things that we really needed to do. Have a second entrance, and we found out in the meantime that we did not own the city or the street here in this city. And it became an issue. We met with the church who owned the property, and it still has taken us a little while to get it deeded over. And tonight we get to talk about it. So it's done.
This is a great thing for the city, and even council members have said, or others that I've seen have said, hey, we didn't even know we didn't own that road. This is the 100 North right-of-way north of what's referred to locally as the Pizza Hut Church. And this will get us the right of way that's needed, and it will give us the opportunity to go ahead and maintain and take care of this road as a city street instead of not.
As well as the pipes that are already in it.
Yeah, all the water lines that are there, the storm drain. They're, just to be clear, if you're familiar with the area, there are some significant deficits in the asphalt in the intersection there. This will take care of that, and we will also have to rebuild one storm drain. But at them deeding the property to us, we can certainly take on that in our annual road maintenance work that we do. Happy to answer any questions that you have on that.
Are there any questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Travis?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Motion passed. I guess we'll get that to the county as soon as possible.
Yes, if we could have the 4 council members sign that now that it's approved, it's on the back table over here, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. I'd like to go into the discussion of possible action items. To start with, first, the Field family and their rezone proposal.
I'm gonna let you drive.
So, is that a good way to put that? How do you want me to? We're glad to have you here tonight. So, there may be questions that come up, and we would love you to talk. Okay.
They're
Good.
going to pass out.
That's the one last week, but
Thanks.
Thank you.
We are the Field family, and I'm Veronica Field Jackson, and this is my husband, Brennan Jackson. These are my children, Casey Field, Mackley Anderson, her husband, Jade Anderson, and my oldest, Shad Field, is not here tonight. We also have a dear friend, Callie Bowers, that did own Rolling Homes in Nephi, and she's on board with us to help us. And I just want to let you all know what our vision is and about this property. We bought it in 1989, and we've had just several things that we have done with it in the past, and our biggest was a rodeo stock contracting company that was very successful. And we farmed it, and it has livestock on it right now, and we have a vision of preserving the Western heritage. And I just like for my family all to say what their vision is in it, because it will be all of us that is going to run it. So turn the time over to Casey.
Casey Field. So our vision is to preserve the Western culture, like my mom said. We've been approached by some corporate companies that want to come in and buy it and sit on it for 10 years and obviously do whatever they can do with it. It's freeway frontage. It's very valuable property. And since my dad has passed it, it's been 10 years this year, and we've sat on it for 10 years, and it really hasn't generated an income to hardly pay for the taxes. And so we want to move on it, and we want to do what's smart for the area and respect of our neighbors, like my dad would do. And we don't want it to be sold to someone that is just going to come in and put high density, or who knows what they'll do to it along the interstate. And we thought that the RV resort would be, pretty friendly to our neighbors, and we want to kind of, share this culture here in Santaquin, the community that is so awesome, and the Nebo Loop and all the attractions around in this area. We want to share that with friends from around the country. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Can I just ask one question, though, as we keep going? A lot of the pictures that come from here, they almost look like they're from the Tetons, but I'm not sure. This wasn't the ones that came from the group site down in Nephi or close by. I thought maybe somebody had scruffed the mountain up a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked the look of it, the presentation.
With the use of AI and copy and paste on the internet, I was able to put together the booklet to kind of
AI?
Yeah, AI.
I can't even hardly spell that.
It's kind of hard. But yeah, I was able to put together the booklet that kind of gives an idea of kind of the aesthetic and the dream that we all together are sharing. I don't have a whole lot more to add to what Casey and my mom have said, other than our hope with the museum in there and things. And so the property, we've always called it the ranch. I can remember being very young at home in Elk Ridge, and we'd go, "Where's Dad?" And he's at the ranch. And it was always the ranch. It's not like, you know, most ranches you think of, but that's why we wanted to preserve the name of the ranch. And our hope is that people will visit from around the nation, and they'll visit our museum, and they'll be impressed with the way that we've kept the grounds and with the aesthetic that's there. And as they travel down the road, they will tell their friends, "Hey, have you stayed at the ranch? You know, it's pretty awesome down there at the ranch." And something memorable and something that would draw people into our community where they could then influx their money back into the community, into the city. I know that the RV parks near baseball fields and things, when they facilitate baseball tournaments and softball tournaments, soccer tournaments and things, can be very beneficial to people. I know we appreciate facilities like that when we have places, well, we rodeo, so most places we go have a facility where we can stay in our trailers, but it's always really nice when there's facilities that you can hook up to and feel comfortably at home where you're at. So
you just come in here and say you guys rodeo? You gotta be kidding me. I thought you invented it.
Not me, but some other people that I know.
Your dad, pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I think I'm supposed to say my name's Mackley Anderson for record.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just checking with Jade first, but I'm Brennan Jackson, married to Veronica. And, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to just share this vision that the family has. And we appreciated the time that the Planning Commission took to review this request, and it was a unanimous decision to recommend it on to this body with some concerns about the zoning, maybe some issues regarding the commercial, or whether we can leave the zoning as is but get a specific permit to be able to do that, or find a way to be able to zone it so that this project could move forward. The one thing that's unique about an RV resort is, especially with the vision that the family has of making it a destination place, it would not be one of like a trailer park where long-term people come and stay. It would be a limit of 28 days in the facilities if they so choose. The thing that really interests me is for the city as well, is that not only will it help generate some RAP tax, but the transient tax that would come into with every time that somebody rents one of the spots. There's a transient tax that is generated for the city that most other businesses do not provide for the city. And so those were some of the benefits and things that we were looking at, and just wanted to thank you for your time. So, any questions?
Yes.
Veronica?
I watched the Planning Commission meeting, and it was very informative. I appreciate what Commissioner Hoffman had mentioned about the zoning. You mentioned the 28-day stay. What prevents somebody from pulling out and turning around and coming back in for another 28 days? And I'm also concerned about if you're going to have an age limit on the units that can come in. Some resorts limit, they have to be 5 years, can't be more than 5 years old, those kinds of things. This is way ahead of this discussion, I realize, but I'm a detail guy, sorry.
Well, those are great questions. I don't think we'll be letting the 5-year-olds stay. But,
5-year-old
What do you mean, the
vehicles.
The RVs.
The
can't be very old.
vehicles can't be over
age limit of like 21.
5 years old. You know, you want some good-looking vehicles there, not
Right.
other than that.
Right.
Just
So-
things you haven't thought of yet, but maybe
No,
you should.
I have. I mean, we have, and we've discussed it with Callie. Please come up, Callie. She's holding my hand through it because I have never ventured into this before. And I don't know if you've seen her place down there, and she just recently sold it. And she is more than happy to be on board with us and walk us through it.
I just know that some of the higher end resorts do limit the age of the vehicle or the RV that can be there.
Right.
Yeah,
Is this the one that's west of the Maverick, out in that area?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The one that, is it Glade Nielsen that's been a,
Well, Glade was the mayor.
Yeah, he was the mayor
okay.
when I broke ground on the park, yeah.
All right. I think I know where it is.
Okay, it's on the Old Pinery Road, so if you're
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
right there. My name's Callie Bowers, and as far as length of stay, that's really, there's two ways that could be handled. It could be handled in the city code ordinance that's written, so the city can dictate length of stay if it's 28 days in and then a certain amount out, or 28 days within a certain calendar period.
Okay.
So there's options there, or you can leave it up to the individual park to manage and maintain that. And then the vehicle age, yes, most resorts do limit the age without, I mean, there are, so I owned the park for 5 years down in Nephi. There are some really nice rigs that are older than, say, the year 2000 that people have restored and, taken really good care of. But that's usually handled at the park level. You can, they could put in their rules and regulations that it needs to be a 2010 or newer, or, pick some age that everyone's comfortable with without photos. If it is older, then, they would need to send in pictures, because it does happen to where you wouldn't want to turn them down just because it's older in age, just
but there
like
are
us
obviously,
as humans, just.
there obviously are some that you don't want to have be in your resort either.
Yeah. So some newer, some older. It's quality of customer, and I believe the Field's vision, the family, is to pull in high end, good people that will add to the community and add to the experience overall. So. And
I see rough counting, maybe 150 spots there. I see some issues with traffic and accessibility that definitely have to be addressed somehow. Thank you for this presentation.
Well, thank you. Do you have any other questions?
I actually have some insight for you.
Okay.
I can actually tell you that it is a very nice place to stay. And I didn't connect the dots until just this meeting, but I actually lived in a motorhome on your property for about 5 weeks. When I moved up here, I knew the vet that was renting that building, and it is a really nice location. It's really close to all the things that are here. I actually think it's a great place to do something like this, and I can say that the Fields maintain that property very well.
Well, thank you.
And I think that something like this would probably do really well there.
Thank you.
I'm just curious about one thing. What kind of time frame are you thinking about this whole project? I know we've talked on and off now for
Right,
months.
we're thinking last week.
Really? So is it Shad that's not here tonight?
Shad is not
Yeah,
here, yeah.
and he was thinking last week? No wonder he's not here.
He was. His son is competing in the high school national finals in
Oh,
Palm
is he?
Springs, so yeah.
Woohoo.
Yeah, he actually did great.
So my
This
name
is
is Jade
Jade.
Anderson. We realize infrastructure-wise and stuff, we got a long road ahead of us, and we really don't, I guess, have a time frame. I mean, we're here trying to move things along, but I guess time frame-wise, just as quickly as we can get going. But I guess we don't have really a due date, if you will. But like I said, we're here to move things along and help you guys, with your guys' help, guide us in the right direction.
Okay.
Do you want me anymore?
You just teach me all the time. What can I say? Sheesh.
Teach me.
I'm not this familiar with everybody all the time, but I do know her. So, you got to give me a break. Are there any other questions that you have?
I just had one.
Yeah, not at this point.
So it looks like there's some other structures. I've been to some nice, not stayed, but driven by RV. I don't have an RV, but RV resorts down in southern Utah. And I know that some offer camping, car camping. Some have little tiny homes on there. I saw a picture of what looks like a tiny home on there. Is there a variety that you're planning on having there?
Yes, but not car camping.
Okay, yeah.
It would. We really want to keep it high end, and the tiny home is that. What is on there is just our vision. We would love to have it.
No, I've seen some
Like-
they're really nice. The ones that I've seen that
Right.
incorporate the tiny home, but also RV.
And that's kind of where I got my vision. We've always talked about this type of a thing and incorporating somehow the Western world too, and it has taken off in a whole capacity. I was just yesterday in Rock Springs at the National High School Finals, and I was just looking at the trailers that were there and the revenue that's coming into that city, and I even came home and told them that it's not like when you kids high school rodeoed. It's on a whole new level. We hope to do that. We hope to do everything in there, but I got my vision from St. George when I went down there, and I believe it's called the White Bison. And I keep driving back to it, and I'm like, this is what I would love to bring to Utah County. And I don't know if you've seen that one.
I might have.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's right before Zions Park, and they just keep adding phase 1, phase 2, and I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
That's where I'm going. I've never done anything like this, and that's why we reached out to Callie. We didn't want to be in competition with her, and she just recently sold hers. Perfect. And so it's just been perfect timing that I reached out to her to ask her some questions, if it was, the right thing to do, if it would bring revenue. And then I had no idea of what it could bring for a city. And we have a lot of Louis memorabilia, and it's in Petite Meat, it's in the Hall of Fame in Colorado Springs. Casey has a lot of stuff too, actually more than Louis. And Saturday night he was just put into the Ogden Heritage Museum, Western Heritage, and lots of stuff to donate to it. And we have Jade is also an accomplished roper and a champion in the roping end of it. We've got lots of champions, and like I said, we have my oldest son actually is very successful also, and now his kids. So we've got lots of stuff. We've got lots of things we'd like to display, lots of art. So that's our vision. So we're looking to you guys for help and the way to go, what we can do with that property. And hopefully someday it will be preserved. And
Okay. No, I appreciate it very much.
Okay. Any other?
I'm not sure that we're set to take action tonight. However, a discussion that I think we'd like to have is a directive in which we could go forward and be able to figure out if there's a good way to build this up, because zoning isn't set for that. We want to make sure that we include everybody that's around, and you've talked to everybody, and the Depew family is here. We're grateful to have you.
Their property borders ours, and we do want to respect their thoughts, and that's been our concern. And we want to put, like, if we do go forward, we want them to know that we would put the fences, put the big trees, whatever it takes. Maybe they're interested in joining. I don't know. I don't know what their vision is for their property either. So.
Yeah. Well, they're residents as well. So
right. So do you need to hear from them too?
Yeah, this is a good thing. Maybe. I thank you for this. I want to hear a discussion or a direction or anything that you feel like you'd like to bring up, or would you like to hear a little bit from the Depew family? Okay. Who is...
Hello, I'm Ryan Depew. I am one of the residents directly adjacent to the property. Last week I read a little quote from an earlier version of the general plan. Tonight I'll read another one from I think the most recent version. Chapter 4, together we will strive to preserve the agricultural and community character through community and civic support and available options that encourage and enable farmers, if they choose, to preserve agricultural land. Agricultural is an integral part of our heritage and our identity, and also an important economic pursuit of a way of life in Santaquin. So I don't think it's any secret that our preference is that this land would stay in agriculture. That would be our desire. We love farming some days. We love farming when it's done, but we love the kind of the atmosphere that it brings. We love the land, we love the open space, and the green fields you see are ours and our neighbors. We take care of those lands. With that said, last week I also mentioned that I don't want to prevent opportunities either. We're not here to try to block or anything like that. We want to be able to work together with the council and the Field family as kind of the efforts for this plan move forward. And so we have a list, just like a few that were brought up earlier, of concerns and questions that we would like to address as this moves forward. We most likely won't touch on them all tonight, but one of the biggest is, how will this affect us? We're on the front lines. We're the ones right there, and so whatever happens, we're going to see it. And so traffic was a big one. Privacy is another one. We want to make sure quality is a big concern. The fact that it was sold, the Nephi Resort was sold 5 years ago, doesn't give me any comfort, because I want someone there to be managing. I want the legacy to remain. We want something there that people care about. And so we talked a little bit about the traffic. That's a big one. The Highway 198. I know it's a state road, and so you kind of got to get those people involved. But we would ask that feasibility studies, things like that, are in place. What will be required in terms of turn lanes, in terms of widening the road. We already touched base on kind of the fencing and the trees. Those are things we can kind of hammer out the details as things progress, but that's something that we were definitely concerned about having. Contingency plans. I don't want this to turn into the Orem eyesore that, maybe most of you are familiar with, the big development. They just lost funding, and so it just sat there for years. I don't want that to happen, so make sure our bonds are in place. What else? Water, septic, a lot of things to hammer out, and so these are a lot of concerns. And like I said, we can kind of hammer those details out later and as things progress, but those are some of our biggest concerns. So.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for the Depews? I think it's important that you're heard in this as well, and I just want to assure everybody we're not going to make a decision tonight. This was a discussion. Can we move forward? There are certainly things that we would want to address that probably aren't even being brought up tonight. However, we're very much aware of most everything that you have said, plus other things, plus what else could really benefit the area, and what do we need to make sure that we have left no stone unturned in doing. And I wish you'd have been here in the previous meeting. We spent 45 minutes on agritourism with one of the local farmers who's just a neighbor across the freeway from you. And I said one thing that I'll probably regret, but I grew up on a little farm and loved the apple trees and hated some of the results that came with it. And I loved the fruit. I hated to pick it. I certainly hated to prune them, but I sprayed them and I did everything else. In the end, I still love apples. Not sure I'm a farmer because I didn't really care for all of that all my life, but I do know that there are incredible things with vision and direction that we can go. More than anything, how can we work together and find a solution? not, ooh, I don't want this to happen. And we heard that. And we heard that you want to go forward, and I am very appreciative of the time that you've brought your family and sat with us, Veronica. It's been interesting to watch all this change and growth and what can we do. And I would really like to see if there's a way that a vision in maybe one bump beyond agro-tourism could maybe work here. Do you have something, Jason?
Yeah, so, and I appreciate what's been said, and I appreciate is it Ryan Depew, that he looked at our general plan. That's obviously a key component of the city. I would agree that the general plan right now talks about that area being a future land use for agricultural heritage, is what it talks about, AHA, agricultural heritage area. So, he's right in the general plan's intent of seeing agriculture preserved in the area. However, there's certainly some things that are going to happen in that area in the future. We don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, longer. But one thing in hearing this proposal from the Field family was at some point that area is going to see some changes to it, and a lot of that's going to come from the future plans for an interchange to be located at approximately
124.
124th or 12400, which is just north of there. So obviously when that happens, that's going to completely change the whole area. And I thought maybe where you were going with your comment is the farm that our mayor was talking about is now a Macy's grocery store and a bunch of commercial development. So things do change, and obviously that's probably happened in that form on your family's property because of its proximity to an interchange. So there's a number of things that come into play with this, but I think for purpose of tonight, this is a new enough, unique enough idea that it's not a simple zone that needs to be changed in order for something like this to happen. There's probably a number of things that would need to change. And talking with our legal counsel this afternoon, one of the ideas that was brought up that could be a good tool for a unique enough idea like this in that specific area would be a development agreement. And I know a number of the concerns and questions that have been brought up can be addressed specifically in that development agreement. Now, usually we don't like to, and I know our legal counsel has reservations about addressing zoning, land use type of things in a development agreement, but for something that is this unique, I don't know if it's worth trying to create a whole new zone for RV resorts or try and fit it into the parameters of agritourism, even though most of the agricultural part of this might go away for more of a commercial business activity. But I think there's certainly a desire for the community, and I know both the families here involved want to preserve kind of that agricultural Western heritage and quality and character that comes with that. So I think for purposes tonight, council's asked some questions. If there's direction from you that this is something that you want to explore further, staff along with legal counsel can look at the best ways, whether zoning or development agreement or otherwise, to make something work for this, and then that'll be really the first step in going in that direction. Obviously, nothing's going to improve tonight, and at some point we'll have to bring a proposal for you in order for you to approve it. But really, the first step in all this is to give some sort of a approval, or I should say, draft something for you to consider approving something like this to take a step forward. This is probably a fairly long process. I appreciate that they don't have a timeline, that they recognize the difficulties and challenges that may come with this property and that particular location and some of the things that need to be done. But there's going to be a lot of details that will already be covered by code requirements that we have that's just for development in general. But a lot of those details can also be hashed out in whatever specific zoning regulation or development agreement language that we provide. So again, to reiterate, I think for purposes of tonight, if you're like this idea in that particular location enough, that's kind of what we need to understand, whether you are, in favor of that idea or not. And then if you are, then we can take that and start to work things out at a staff level so we can bring a proposal for you in the future.
Thank you. Any comments from anyone?
How much property is involved? How many acres are there?
30-ish.
39. 38, 39.
Okay, thanks.
I like this idea. The one thing I was thinking about on here was if we move forward and we're able to put together a development agreement, that gives us a chance to work through it line by line. You probably have an attorney that will be looking at all of the things that are being added to it as we go. How do we do that to make sure that even some of the concerns that the nearest biggest neighbor would have, because generally we work, and we've written a lot of development agreements, we work with just the entity, how do we keep them appraised so that we go, other than, an open public meeting when it's all brought out, but there may be some input along the way that we may want to look. Does that make sense?
Jason can address some of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so there's processes that we have to follow as a government entity that we will do. I mean, really, if the council likes that idea, and really, out of respect for the applicant, they can have other people involved with the drafting of a development agreement as much or little as they want. Ultimately, it'll have to come through a public process, and all that information will be public as the council considers any sort of approval. But in terms of drafting it, if the Field family wants the Depews to be kind of involved in that, it's up to them, and there certainly can be ways to try and gather information and gather ideas and address concerns and mitigate any potential impact. So usually we don't involve anybody except for an agreements between two parties, and it's the city and the applicant. But ultimately, whether they're involved in any of the drafting of the agreement or not, it is going to go through a public process, and anybody and everybody will be able to read and react to and provide their input on anything that's drafted and considered by the council. Because there's a land use element to this, it'll go through the typical legislative process. So it's not just going to be an agreement, bring it to the council, and whether you approve it or not, it would get a public hearing, it would go through the planning commission again, it would ultimately come to the council. So there's plenty of opportunity for the public to react to any sort of a proposal that the council is considering for approval.
And Ryan, you've been through city processes before, so you with your subdivision and other things that were done when the homes were built there, so you're somewhat familiar with that. We would just say stay informed, watch the agendas, that type of thing, attend the meetings, follow the noticing. It's no different on this process than, well, it is a little different, but similar processes in public forums and public hearings and other things that take place.
I think just knowing that we want to work together, and we want to work with the public, in every case, and they are residents too, and sometimes we find when we bring something together, it benefits both parties, and that's what we'd really like to see, is a win-win all the way around, or at least I would. I don't want to create enemies in any way, and sitting in this position, you're a pretty big target to start with. So I just want you to know, both your families, as well as the other neighbors that are around, we want to be very cognizant of their needs and what difference it can make all the way. I think it's a good move to go forward, start drafting this up, seeing where we need to be. That will help you with the timeline and maybe how far you want to bring all of these pieces about. And there could even be a point where we could share it with even the Depews before it went to a public meeting, if that was the case that you wanted to do so. And I think it may be a win that way. You know, I don't know the outcome because it's not, well, this is zoned for it and you build it like this and you're good to go. This is a new thing, and you know what? Let's look at it. Let's see what we can do.
And maybe to reiterate a point I made earlier, there's probably a need to amend our general plan if this is something to move forward, because obviously the proposal right now is as was brought up, is not really in line with our general plan. But like I say, I think there's a number of good points in this proposal, and you know, like I say, I think there's definitely a vision for that area at a regional level. You know, the regional transportation plan talks about an interchange being there. May not be, you know, we don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but there certainly is, you know, this is not just an agricultural piece of land that's out in the middle of nothing. It's right there next to the freeway and near a future interchange. So, but you know, like it's been brought up, there is things in our general plan that we need to look at and make sure that our general plan is in line with whatever direction that we go forward. So I think we could probably work on a draft for something like this for you to consider, but probably in conjunction with that, we probably want to be looking at our general plan and seeing if there's a change or an amendment to that general plan to make sure that we're you know, having more of the broad vision conversation in all this as well.
Well, look at the property as a whole, bring it together as a possible development agreement, look at the pluses and minuses, and what will be the best way to move forward. I think we can just begin as soon as possible. Okay? Any thoughts? I don't think we need to vote on moving forward like that. It's just, let's just move up. Okay? Good? All right. Thank you. It's good to see you all, because I know as soon as we start the next thing, you'll all leave, and it's like, you know, we try our best, but...
Thank you.
Thanks, Mon. It's good to see you.
You're welcome to stay for the next agenda item if you want.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 9, the discussion and possible action of the approval of the change order with Edward Ellsworth Paulson for the library interior construction.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is an item that we've discussed again numerous times since, like, seems like 10 years now, but the last couple of months at least, and through the budget process, we've secured sufficient funding to construct the library interior. I would note that, as indicated in my memo, this does not outfit us for FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipments. That means no bookshelves, no chairs, no tables, no anything. That's likely another $500,000 plus or minus at some point in the future. But this does get us to going on the construction, which is probably an 8 to 12 month process, depending on when we can get things like the elevator and other equipment that we need. Happy to answer any questions that you have on that.
The only thing is did you share the plan for the library? Could you? I don't need it now. I'm just curious, just in the future, just to have that on hand, just to be curiosity.
I have shared it in the past, and it seemed to be rather difficult for those that, for whatever reason, it's a large file. I get it. Okay. I understand, but I actually have the plans pulled up, and I can show you what that looks like now. So this is the outfitting and the design of the interior of the library downstairs. The main part of the building is here. You would have stairs over here, restrooms up in the northwest corner, storage and conference room, study areas. I would note that this is rather open. You can see that there's lots of windows and lots of access, so that we don't have like private rooms and things that might not be appropriate happening in there. the circulation and the bookshelves out here, some sitting areas, some tables, some workstations, some again more area here, staff area here for a circulation desk downstairs and upstairs, the elevator, a gaming area, small gaming area, and a maker space in the basement. So that will give you kind of an idea of what we're looking at. Again, some of what you're seeing here, again, caution, is FF&E, but it will give you an idea of what we're setting up for, everything from, AV to power outlets in the floor to lighting, all of that kind of stuff is being considered in this type of a layout. So that's the main floor. That's the basement. Let me go down up to the main floor and give you an idea of what that looks like. Again, this is the main part of the library. I would mention to you that yes, the shape does look a little bit different because this happens to be our conference room right over here next to us, and so that's not going to be used for the library. There's no access in there. This is also storage and AV and IT in here. This would be the main entrance on the street side. This is 100 North up here. Again, restrooms, stairs, the circulation area here would be for staff or receiving, stamping, preparing, repairing, etc. books, and then again having bookshelves and seating and other items upstairs for use. Again, some study areas. There are a couple of areas where we would have computer desks and those types of things, similar to what we have now, but much larger. We're going from about 3,400 square feet over here to almost 11,000 square feet between the two floors here. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have on that, and I apologize for those that have had issues accessing this file.
I think I honestly forgot. I just didn't even try, I guess, because I don't even remember.
It was February,
I'm pretty sure you sent it to me. So yeah.
Oh, it was big. They would send it to me, and it wouldn't even make it.
Well, I didn't even try, so that's my bad. Because
I just emailed it to you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sir.
Okay.
In the future, I'd like to know what capacity this will bring to us as far as books on shelves. How many do we have now? How many will we end up? Not this evening, but in the future.
Sure, we can do that.
The decimal system doesn't go that high.
The Dewey Decimal System.
I think Dewey died.
Yeah, we haven't used that in a long time.
Yeah, we're happy to do that. I would point out that.
That's right. You're the library guy.
I would point out that roughly half of the funding will come to you in the form of the final budget on our August 7th meeting, half from the CDRA and half from our reserve funds in our capital projects fund. And again, please note that this is not outfitting for FF&E and it's not staffing. Those items will have to be addressed at some other point in time. But I will tell you that we have in private donations that the mayor has garnered, we've got about $118,000 sitting there right now with over another $100,000 pledged that's not cash in hand at this point in time. So over the next year or so, we would likely realize and maybe have 40% of what we need for the FF&E to get things going. And there could be other potential donors. I know that the mayor's working on that as well.
And will continue. Hopefully by the time this would be outfitted and ready, we'd be able to come up with some extra money.
At present, the contractor plans to start the first full week in August, which is the week after our Orchard Day celebration. So that's kind of where we stand right now.
The plan to remove all that stuff, have we got a place?
It's happening already.
Okay. All right. Okay, so with that, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve. I'm going to read this whole thing for the library board. I make a motion to approve a guaranteed maximum price change order number 3 in an amount of $2,199,788 for Ellsworth Paulson to complete the library interior construction in the Santaquin City Hall West Wing.
I'll second.
Oh. Second and a third. How's that? We don't usually get those, but a first, second, and third.
Come on,
so Art.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Jeff.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Good. We'll move on then. Thank you very much. Want to go to the vac truck?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the next two items are separate but but the same as it were. One is for the chassis, the purchase of the chassis for the new vac truck, and the other one is for the outfitting of the truck itself with all the tanks and pumps and motors and blowers and all the fancy stuff. You can read through the plethora of items that we will get with that. I'm happy to answer any questions. As I've indicated in the memo, we do have sufficient funding to take care of that. As you may recall, we set aside some capital, some funds in capital projects, and the other portion of it would come from the storm drain fund or from capital repair and replacement, a small amount. Those again will come before you for formal approval of the budget. This would approve the funds in the order, but the formal budget will include these items in it as we bring it to you on August 7th. I'm happy to answer any questions.
What was the delivery time again on the chassis?
So the chassis is about 90 days. The chassis is about 90 days.
Yeah.
The truck being built and outfitted is about 9 months.
Yeah, so we're mostly a year away from seeing any of this stuff, but we're ready to input it. Will we have paid for it all before we see it, or are we going to see it in 27's budget?
It will likely take place in this year's budget.
Okay.
I don't believe unless there's some delay in ordering or building it or whatever, I don't anticipate that this would carry over to next year.
Okay. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion then.
So moved.
Seconded.
To what?
Approve.
Okay,
Sorry.
just wanted to make sure.
Approve.
Moved and seconded. Travis?
Aye.
Jeff?
Considering looking at those architectural requirements. They've got some roof pitches on their roof that don't meet the minimum roof pitch. But I think if I were to show you the plans for their building, it's a credit union, so it's a really nice building. And you know what I always say in ARC meetings is architecture is subjective. It's everybody has their own opinion, but I know also the council's feelings about trying to be business friendly, and when someone has a very quality looking building, you know, I would like to see if there's any feelings to the contrary of what our code is asking and requiring of buildings to look like. So that'll be an interesting meeting. There may be some sort of a conditional approval that you know the requirements go through a process and are changed. That way they don't have to come to multiple ARC meetings. But something for you to keep in mind about. I'm happy to talk with you in more detail if you have no idea what I'm saying. But there's just some architectural requirements that they can't meet right now or aren't meeting right now, but probably are worth consideration. So the last thing I'll update you on, I've been working on with the U.S. Department of State on this passport office idea. I did get an application submitted. Long story short, I did get some information back, and they will be in contact with me. They're talking about already training for our staff that would be involved with that. So it's not necessarily moving forward and approved for you to have the office, but it kind of sounds like that too. So I'll keep you in the loop of where progress is with that. But we're making some progress, at least in communication. Sometimes the federal government's not easy to communicate with. So yeah, things are moving forward with that, and we're going to react accordingly. And you know, we're now in the new fiscal year and can advertise for that position to help kind of on some administrative things. But if this passport office gets approved, then we'll have that as well to have that employee work on that as well, and that could be a great service to the community and probably a revenue generator for the city too. So that's what I have to report, unless you have any questions for me.
Jay? Norm?
Mayor and council, if I may. Bam. This is not a rendering. This is not a test. This is our new playground up at the Foothill Village Park.
It's not AI.
It's not AI.
Honestly,
Sure.
it looks kind of like AI, like a rendering. Like I don't know what it is.
I
but-
can testify to you this is
Okay,
not
that
AI.
looks a little. That looks a
because
little
I took these pictures today, so I promise you they are not AI. That's right.
So your intelligence is real.
So it's not complete yet. The majority of the playground equipment has been installed, but there is some restoration that our crews have to do to get the sod back in, the sprinklers back up to snuff. So a little bit of grading, some other things. We did have to make some minor changes to the grading just because of the slope of the park, but there you have our new playground for the Foothill Village.
I love the fact that it's covered.
Yeah, some good shade there, absolutely. Yep. It doesn't cover the whole thing, but at noon on a hot day, it's good.
It takes away a couple hours of baking
How
in
are
the
kids
sun.
going to
So it
develop
makes-
character if they're not sliding down a metal slide that's about 4,000 degrees?
I know.
Just saying.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do.
Really? Is that little pavilion with just one table enough, or
Yeah,
do we
I
need to think of another table?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm confident that if we need to, we can install another table there. But right now, that's in fact, if I go up to the other picture, you'll see that there's a table and a bench. The bench is obviously overlooking the playground, and then the table. But again, we can certainly add another table or two if we need to there.
You stick mom out in the sun, the kids play in the shade.
This is what we came up with, but it's exciting.
1,000 degrees, right?
So anyway, just wanted to report that to you. We're still probably a month away from having that fully restored. We'll probably look at some kind of a ribbon cutting of some sort and just go up and have hot dogs and Kool-Aid or something like that, and we'll be good. That's just exciting to be getting projects done and that kind of thing. So moving forward, Main Street, I can report to you that they are moving along rather well on the south side, and that they currently look at about 3 weeks out as all to pave not only the south side but the entirety of the overlay of the road as well. So sometime in the next month or so, the roadway will be done. There's still going to be work behind the curb and gutter, sidewalk, ADA ramps, that kind of stuff. Mailboxes, fences restored, landscaping restored. Those types of things are still coming, but they're moving along quite well.
That should fix immediately the parking in front of Pioneer and Wild Thistle. Should it?
Yeah, the parking in front of Pioneer and Wild Thistle on Main Street is available right now. Just people aren't going there because you got the road closed sign in one area, and then you have the taper, as it were, going back out to the lanes, goes past that on the Main Street. But yes, it will take care of some of the issue that they've been feeling right now.
Yeah.
And again, it is unfortunate that both sides of that 100 West have had the impacts of this entire project, unfortunately.
It would be interesting to see what the state can say they would do to help if they helped somebody previous.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a state program out there. We're happy to go look at it and find it, but right now there's no funding from our current funding that would allow for that. CUP, the Central Utah Project, the pipeline, they're getting close. They're probably 2 months away from laying the last pipe. I did indicate last council meeting that on September 10th, there is a celebration of laying that last pipe somewhere between 11 and 1 p.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m. in our multi-purpose room. They'll be having a lunch and a celebration. And
What day?
What's that? September 10th. Again, it's 11 to 1-ish is what I know of right now. I haven't gotten an official program, but they will be using our room down there. So things are moving along that way. We've talked about the stating publicly in each meeting that we'll be having a public hearing on the potential property tax increase on August 7th at 7 p.m. And that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on other projects or other items.
I forgot one thing, if I can. So looking at the calendar, we have a 5th Tuesday this month. Congratulations to us. However, with the 5th Tuesday, we won't have another meeting before Orchard Days. I just want to let you know, I think the plan right now and is for me to drive the nice new Murdoch truck in the parade for the mayor and council. I just want to let you know, I will send you an email and coordinate with you on when we meet and that sort of thing. Emily's on top of things. She's already planning to get hundreds of pounds of candy for you to throw out. And so just want to let you know, I will work out the details of that. I've done this for the past several years, and so just look for an email or a text from me, and we'll coordinate on a time to meet up. Obviously, probably a little early so you guys can judge floats and that sort of a thing, and then we'll hopefully just kind of run this like we did last year. So let me know if you have any questions about that. But just wanted to make sure.
I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
My wife and I are leaving on a vacation, right, as soon as we can get away from the, at that point. Would you guys mind if my wife rode in the truck with you while you drive? Or
You're the mayor. You're the mayor.
She's the
She
first.
can hand it
She's the
back.
first lady
she can
of
walk
Santaquin.
behind.
Come on.
Well, no, I don't want to make her walk. It's going to be
That's not a problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
that means we'll both
That's
get
fair.
out at the same place and can leave.
Yeah.
My son has a
Yeah,
unicycle she can ride and follow us.
Yeah,
Somebody needs to keep
I
track
want
of
to watch
Jason.
that, but not really. Okay. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Mayor, I have one other thing really quick, and that is that the August 7th is our next meeting. So 3+ weeks away to our next meeting.
2 meetings.
Well, potentially 2 meetings.
Right.
One meeting at 5:30 if we need to have just a regular council meeting, and then the TNT public hearing meeting at 7 p.m. So we don't know that yet, that there will be 2 meetings, but there potentially could be 2 on that night. There's no meeting on
The 5th?
that on the August 5th, as the mayor's out of town and we've moved everything to that Thursday.
Oh, okay.
But I would encourage you to please make sure that August 7th that you are available on your calendar, and
We will have an agenda and bills to pay and everything.
That's
Not
why
in that
we might
meeting.
have that.
the
So there might
one
be 2.
before, yes. So to be clear,
Before and then the-
to be clear, state code
Oh, okay.
requires that the public hearing and the budgets are the only thing in that
okay.
7 p.m. meeting. But that's the whole purpose for the other
Okay.
earlier meeting. If we have one, we would just forego a work session and have a regular meeting on at 5:30 on that day, which we are allowed to do by code. We can't do any other business
Okay.
than the TNT public hearing and the budgets. in
Obviously,
that
we
meeting.
need to pay bills.
Yes. I would also note that this year state code has changed, and there will be a remote option where people can have to be able to comment during the meeting, the public hearing. So we've already sent that notice out, and that is set up so that we have that meeting set up both here and electronically for people to comment on. That takes some doing, and it's not without a significant effort, but it is a state requirement that we will be doing for that meeting
Is
specifically.
that to allow them to comment vocally or just like a written comment? Like a typed
It is vocal. It is, they have to be able to address the council in the same manner as somebody standing right here at the podium.
Is
So,
there-
you raise your eyebrows, and that's.
Is there a time limit?
What's that?
Are they given 5 minutes like
There
here?
is no time limit. The state does not allow you to have a time limit in that particular meeting. So you've got it right. But also, if you remember the early days of COVID, right, when all the meetings went and you had huge problems with invasive pornography and other things, that this is a real issue that the state is mandating us to have to deal with. And so we're doing it, but it is very, very time consuming, manpower wise and otherwise. I do not anticipate this going forward at all of our meetings going forward.
Be interesting if the state does the same thing for themselves.
I am confident they don't.
Yeah. It's like that guy from Logan that writes everything.
Yeah. So anyway, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that we were bringing it up.
Okay, Travis?
All right, I bring you the gratitude of the library board. And Mayor, Norm, I took credit. No,
Great.
I gave credit where credit was due. They're very grateful for the progress on the library. Also, they had about 1,500 people participating in the summer reading program, which is almost 10% of our population.
Yeah.
So it's really cool stuff going on with the library. They're going to wrap that up here soon. And then YCC is just gearing up for the parade, and we do quite a bit of volunteering that week for different events for Orchard Days. So just getting all those things together.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
I don't have anything
At all?
not that I can think of.
Wow.
I'll
let you reserve a spot.
I was gonna say remember Orchard Days, but it's been talked about. So
yeah. Stole your thunder.
Wow, you always get your stuff stolen.
Art.
Yeah, do review the Orchard Days booklet that the city sent out. There's a lot of great information in there about what's going on. Regarding the parade, does the city still want or will they allow the American Legion to lead out like we traditionally have done?
Please let John Bradley know.
Okay.
And they will schedule you right in the front.
Okay.
I see no problem with that. But I've found out I don't have a lot to say with the parade. So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a comment regarding this RV ranch RV resort. Number one, the property's in the city, right?
Yes.
Just barely.
it's the border.
It doesn't need to say Spring Lake here. They're their own city. It's Santaquin.
And I wonder if that's a post office thing.
Yeah.
But they are definitely in our city limits.
Yeah.
The other issue I have is I did a rough count of their little dots, and there looks like there's at least 150 units there. If it's on 40 acres, that's a high-density area as far as housing is concerned. That would be the equivalent of putting 200 units on 40 acres in town. So we're looking at a high-density development. Just a thought.
Be like a hotel, wouldn't it?
Somewhat transient people.
Right.
Wouldn't it be like a hotel?
That stay that way, and the other cities that I've checked with are doing very well off of them. So what we need to decide, especially as we go through with this, what are the pluses and minuses even for the city?
Right.
You know, we certainly want to see what it does in effect for the owners and the neighbors.
And they mentioned infrastructure, and they mentioned water and sewer. I mean, water and septic, but it would be sewer, right?
Yeah.
They would connect our system.
Well, so it may not be that we're getting way into the weeds.
Right.
Our sewer is 2 miles from there. Our existing sewer system
But
is
if
2
you're in the
miles.
city limits, aren't you required to be
No.
on septic?
Only if
They
you're
made my house.
No, only if you're
Because you're
within
in proximity
300
to
feet.
sewer.
The state code and our code is if you're within 300 feet of an active and available sewer, you have to connect to it.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
You're in proximity to sewer.
Right.
They're not. We actually have a number of homes that are on septic in the
Okay.
city. It's because they're not near a sewer pipe. So, yeah.
That would help their infrastructure issues.
Yeah.
I
This is
had an idea with that too. I want to talk with you
Okay,
about it
great.
later, offline.
This
Great.
is not a take it as it is. This is a vision, and I mean the details, like you just talked
Yeah.
about. Those numbers can be
Oh, I
worked
know.
out. Councilman
It's very
Keel-
premature, I know.
Right, Councilmember Keel brought up a good point that this don't look at this like a residential development. This is almost more like a hotel, which is very dense.
The museum, just changing, the museum's going to be open quite a bit during the city celebration. Make sure you let everybody be aware of that and take advantage of participating in that. Thanks.
Brian?
I don't have much. I did want to thank Mayor and Norm for me being absent this last meeting, still sharing my thoughts. It always happens that the times that I'm absent are those times when those are the discussions that I really wanted to be there for. So I really appreciated that. And I thought it was a really good discussion. Did want to add some context just really quick, and that, and I think Lynn actually clarified it really well, is that I'm not against giving raises and meeting the market wages for our employees. I just hope that inflation slows down so that we're not doing extreme wage adjustments every year. A lot of that's out of our control, and so I think we all are pretty much in agreement. And then Norm already highlighted the Foothill Village Park, almost done, so that's really exciting. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, we don't have a date yet on the interchange, obviously, but the next date we were looking for was to get a meeting with Region 3. I sent a note through. I didn't hear back. Did you hear anything? So we're going to look at proposing doing some phasing approaches and see if we can move that along. We'll do that as soon as we can get a meeting with them, and it certainly won't happen this week because I won't be here unless you do it.
I'm off tomorrow too.
What?
You know what? I want a vacation, so I'm going to take a few days. The other things.
Is there anything I need to be prepared for?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited about Main Street. Main Street looks really good. And I know this is heartache with some of those that spoke tonight, I'm sure. If we could find something, great. But within the next 2 months, that should be at a pretty good level to where all we're seeing is tie-ins, trees coming in, the approaches. I did get a phone call from a local business owner that was trying to sell the old station down there. I'm very confused about the height of the sidewalk above where it was going in. I just turned them over to you.
Yep.
And
I talked to him. Yep, we'll take care of it. There's a tie back there.
Okay,
Yep.
So I said, well, let's just work that out before we change anything. Those were state plans. We're where we're at.
Yep.
Please note that around the middle of September, and the date may change a little bit. I talked to Chad about the last pipe for the ULS. He says, if we have to hold to that date, we may be sitting on our hands with the last pipe for days and days and days out because they're that far ahead. They feel pretty good about where they stand. I think they're going to press forward. I don't know that they'll meet or change that laying of the last pipe. And I did mention it in our August meeting that that's going to happen. 4 years ago now, it was blurted all over the place that we don't even need to worry about CUP. We don't need to worry about, other projects around. And you know what? We're making headway. And the biggest one to me is the win that we have found over the last few weeks with the interchange. That has made some really good headway. And I'm looking forward to just working on bits and pieces of that, see what we can do to move it along. We have discussed maybe the city taking a role in this, similar to what we've done with Main Street. Even though this is an interstate project, I don't know if we can really do it, but we may be able to, at least on the phasing for the approaches of Highland or 198. And we'll see how that can work. There's a lot of good things going forward with it. Looking forward to Santaquin days. I will be there on the Saturday before, I guess here. It'll be the flag raising here.
Right.
And I can't think of anything else I need to go over. Did I miss anything? I hope you have all felt comfortable with explanations, questions, opportunities to ask, especially with the taxes that we've had to look at. I take it all very seriously, and I'm just grateful for all the input that you've given and where we are right now. Got a lot of good things. There's a lot still happening, and this is not about to slow down. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jeff?
Aye.
Art?
Art.
Travis?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Art?
Doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't.
Aye.
I give it to
That's a dirty trick, Art.